This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, they're covering Emperor's New School. Alright. Joel.
Yes, Andrew.
This is a crossover episode. I don't think we've ever done one of those before.
This is, I guess, our first. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
With none of the podcast that you went on to. For those of you who are not in the know, Joel went on to our friend's podcast, the Flicks and Friends podcast. He was part of the Friends category, not the Flicks category. And they talked about The Emperor's New Groove.
What a movie, man. What a movie.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be fun if we covered the cartoon that was based off of the movie.
Yes.
The Emperor's New School.
Ooh. Skew.
So,
It was a little weird.
So this one's like, this is like the era that we had. This is I don't know if people consider this the Disney Renaissance. It might be. But I know that Emperor's New Groove was the least successful. It was a box office flop as far as like numbers are concerned. But when it reached syndication, it got more popular that way.
Yep.
But this is a very Disney tradition where you make an animated movie and then you make an animated series of that. And just like almost all of them, except maybe the Aladdin animated series, it takes all of the continuity and just pisses it away.
Yeah.
The Hercules one is the biggest affront to that, because in the Hercules movie, he doesn't meet Phil. Well, wait, no, never mind. That one might actually check out, because that's supposed to be during his hero training, that whole Hercules in high school thing.
Yeah.
So maybe they're still...
That one's still
strange.
weird, because it's like you said, it's him in school.
Yeah.
And it's not adding up because...
It's like all of them, they're like, Disney's like, just send them to school.
Well, they're like, hey, we're trying to target these preteens. The only life they know is school, so let's make it.
That's a very good point. We may cover the Hercules animated series later on. I have a feeling it's going to have a very similar story to The Emperor's New School, maybe. But that's enough waffling, Joel. Let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
Hi there. Just wanted to welcome you to my show starring me, Kuzco. So, no changing the channel. Understand? No changing. Okay, theme music.
He's on his way to the throne. He's on his way to success. But he has to go to school. He's got to ace that test. He's an emperor to be, and he's totally...
You know, it's all about me.
Exactly. He's going to Kuzco Academy. He's got to learn his ABCs. Let's try to stop him. To stop him.
To destroy him, right?
He's got the cool, he's got the charm and the looks, and the hottie that can help him read the thing called books.
I feel like it's running a little too long, Andrew.
Little bit.
Yeah. I think after them spelling Kuzco.
Yeah, after the spelling one, it feels like it should have ended. We've been running into a lot of this lately, of like theme songs just like not knowing when to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, I if it's a great theme song, you never want that thing to end. You don't care.
That's true.
But
I feel like a good theme song, you got to have three things. You got to be kind of short. You got to have that earworm, so you're singing it, so it's always in your head, so you never forget to go watch it on TV because you're just like singing it. Cowboys of Moo Mesa is a good example. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song is definitely a great example.
Yep.
Of just being like, and also some of these aren't that long, but they feel very long.
Yeah, this one just clocks in right over a minute, but it still feels too long.
Yeah.
Yep. All in all, I would give it probably a 6. I mean, it's catchy beat. It's not like bad to listen to. It's just a little too long.
It's also trying to capture the magic of the music of the movie with like a fourth of the budget.
Oh yeah,
and it's not working out.
Oh,
Who did the main theme again? Where they sing about Cusco? Isn't it Tony Robinson?
No,
I'm talking about from the movie.
Oh, it's I believe so.
You can learn more about that on the Flicks and Friends episode of The Emperor's New Groove, available on all podcast platforms. They're not here. We got to plug them.
I know. But Andrew, really with the history of this, I mean, we'll spend a little time talking about Emperor's New Groove.
Okay.
But if you want like a more in-depth conversation around that, go listen to the Flicks and Friends episode. But really, like you already mentioned, Emperor's New Groove came out, was a flop at the theaters. Well, that movie really gained its traction was when it started airing on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And when it was released on VHS, it sold millions of copies when it went on to VHS.
For anybody super young, a VHS is a tape.
It's the step before DVD.
For anybody who's super young, a DVD is the disc you used to put in there.
It's the step before Blu-ray.
It's this, yeah. For anybody who's wondering about a Blu-ray, it's like that.
It's like streaming. It's like streaming, but you put a disc in a device.
If anyone feels like this joke is being run into the ground, it's a pretty good prelude to how this show is. Yeah. Anyway, continue on.
So, movie gained popularity, and then Disney started taking notice of kind of this, I guess, shift within it, because the humor in Emperor's New Groove is not the same, like, at all with what Disney had been doing up to this point.
Disney's humor before this was like a duck getting mad or a Goofy getting maimed, but it wasn't sarcastic humor.
So on the Flicks and Friends podcast, I think they summed it up beautifully. It's very Looney Tunes-esque.
Yeah. The Looney Tunes crew was always more sarcastic than the Disney crew when it came to their cartoon animals. Yes.
So at this time, Disney has taken notice of the success of the movie. Now, the president of Disney Channel Worldwide, Gary Marsh, he led the commission for a new school, or what they was calling a new school, with a K, Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah, they was trying to be cool by, misspelling it.
Misspelling school.
I guess. He actually turned to Bob Ganaway, who at this point he had worked with Disney to adapt several other movies into shows, like the Timon and Pumbaa show, the Lilo and Stitch cartoon.
We gotta cover that Timon and Pumbaa show.
We need to.
Because those later seasons are off the wall bananas.
Yeah, we need to do that. So really at this point, Disney knows, hey, that's our go-to guy. He's used to us. Let's hire him. They got the approval from the original writer of Emperor's New Groove, Howdy Pawkins, Mark Dindal.
Okay.
They got approval from him, and they just basically brought in the rest of the team. And they just wanted to capitalize on this fame that Emperor's New Groove was having. And they basically found out that, hey, a lot of preteen kids, kids are growing out of Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. They are really resonating with this movie. They love the movie. They love the humor. So let's make it about a school.
So kids love
can relate.
That sassy, sexually ambiguous Emperor Kuzco. We gotta put him in everything.
Put him in everything. And that's basically what they did.
Yeah.
Now, I know, if I'm not so clearly not the same Kuzco.
No.
Clearly not. So I'm wondering if they brought back any of the other alumni from the movies.
Actually, a lot of people came back to reprise their roles.
Oh, really? Like who?
Mm-hmm. 3 notable ones we'll get into. But so we have for the voice cast of the Emperor's New Groove. God, I knew I was going to do it at least once.
Get it out early, Andrew.
Yeah, just say get it out early, I guess. So the cast for the Emperor's New School is J.P. Magno is Kuzco. Patrick Warburton is Kronk. Curtis Armstrong is Mr. Mulgako. Eartha Kitt is Yzma. Jessica Takayo is Milana. Rip Taylor is the Royal Record Keeper. Fred Tatasciore is Pacha in season 1.
Okay.
And John Goodman comes back as Pacha in season 2.
Good.
So a lot, it made me wonder what the hell is David Spade up to, because I can't imagine he was too busy for this.
What, wasn't he, was he in Wild Hogs, that movie?
No, he wasn't in Wild Hogs.
Okay.
That was Tim Allen, John Travolta, Chris Tucker, and damn, I can't remember the last one.
Maybe he was working on that. I don't know. Really, this is 2006. I don't know if I mentioned that this when the show aired.
Yeah.
So he can't be doing anything good. Maybe Joe Dirt.
No, Joe Dirt's come and gone.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe he was doing that shitty movie where he was a child star that grew up, and he would always wear gloves because he didn't want to touch anybody.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah,
maybe
that
that's
movie
what it was.
Sucks. But anyway, their other works are J.P. Manu is Gene Farrow in CSI Vegas. Patrick Warburton is Ken in the most memeable movie, B Movie. He's a ton of stuff, but I just wanted to mention B Movie. Curtis Armstrong is Snot in American Dad.
Okay.
Jessica Takayo is Mario's mom in the Super Mario movie.
Oh, awesome.
Eartha Kitt is a fortune teller in American Dad.
Go Eartha.
She's also Madame Zeroni in Holes. Rip Taylor, I know he's at the ending of the first Jackass movie. He's also the genie of DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. Fred Tedescory is Samuel L. Jackson in Team America World Police.
Fantastic.
And John Goodman is Eli Gemstone in the recently finished up series, The Gemstones. I highly suggest people watch that one. It is so good.
Good old John Goodman.
So let's talk about this show for a little bit. The premise is fairly simple. Kuzco reaches a certain age where if he doesn't graduate high school, he loses the empire, and it goes to Yzma. And that's basically it.
That's it. Yep.
And it's super weird because they'll still fail him, or they still threaten to fail him, but the only one who really loses out on this is the citizens of the Kuzco Empire. And they even mention it. There's one episode where Kuzco won't do his homework. He hasn't done his homework. He always has an excuse, and then he goes, I'm going to give you one more. No, it's not that episode. It's the second language episode. Okay. And he teaches him to squirrel.
Of course.
And he's like, well, he goes, you're only hurting yourself if you fail this class. Well, that and Yzma will take over, and her tyrannical rule will destroy us all. You're just like, why don't you just pass him then?
Just pass him.
If
Who
you
cares?
all know that this shit is like going to definitely suck, just get rid of, pass him.
I feel like this is almost an alternate reality to the movie, this show.
Well, continuity wise, it takes place after the Emperor's New Groove and after the direct to video sequel to the movie, Kronk's New Groove. Because that's another Disney guarantee. We should do those someday.
Look,
just the direct to video Disney movies. Oh, that would be a fucking endurance race.
We should do it like maybe a month. Do that.
Yeah.
And then we could even talk about like the bootleg versions of those.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah. So Kronk's New Groove is actually one of the better ones.
Yep.
But when we get to the Emperor's New School, we have a problem. And it's really the show's only problem because it looks fine and the plots are okay, but every joke you love from the Emperor's New Groove, they run completely and utterly into the ground.
Oh my God.
The lever is in every episode.
Ugh.
All of them.
Ugh.
Like there's always a lever joke. It's always something different. The roller coaster always does something different. But yeah, it's just they're all he gets turned into an animal almost every episode, or somebody's getting turned into an animal.
Yeah.
Almost every episode. It's definitely not one you want to binge, which makes sense because this show was animated during a week to week basis.
Yep.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah, really, if you're going to watch it, pace yourself with it.
If you want, it's all on Disney Plus. So
yeah, there was one thing, because I never knew that this was supposed to be taking place after all the movies.
Right.
So my question is, why is Yzma still? Like, why is she still around? Why has he still employed her? Like,
I don't think. Well, yeah, that's true. She would still be the advisor.
because if she
It's been a while since I saw Kronk's New Groove, but I think she gets her job back because she has
like change of heart,
like
or
had a
maybe-
redemption arc, but it was like a false
Okay,
redemption arc. It's also because who the hell else is going to be the villain
I don't know. Create a new
in
one.
this episode or in this show? Like,
Create a new one. Make it a bully at school.
yeah,
There you go.
that's also true.
It could have been like, fighting against the establishment. That could have been the whole thing. Because, it's
Yeah.
like the bully is picking on the king.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, yeah, who knows? They could have just did
So I know that a lot of it's not really a controversy, but there were certain parent groups
that. Okay.
who panned this show because Cusco actually didn't really grow as a person.
Yeah.
Like he basically he learns a lesson and then it doesn't carry over to the next episode. A lot of parental groups said that their criticism was he doesn't really
Develop.
come across as super likable even after he learns a lesson. Like he's still like a super shitty guy.
Okay.
And a lot of parental groups were like they didn't want their kids watching this because they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Another running
Oh.
joke. Sorry.
Oh,
Another running joke was he inner monologues whenever someone's
still.
talking, and that shit gets old fast.
Oh, I bet. I know I actually read a quote from Ganaway, the guy who was writing this. He actually acknowledged that a lot of people might dislike Cusco because of his selfish nature, but they wanted to portray him as a sympathetic jerk who really doesn't know any
does
better.
Not come across that way. He comes off as he comes off as a whiny little bitch who didn't learn anything from his movie,
No.
at all.
See, that's why I always thought it was like before the movie.
It would have been better if it was a prequel. It actually makes more sense if it's a prequel.
But you couldn't have all the characters from the movie in it unless you figured out some way to make.
because he has to go stay with Pacha.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you could just say it's a boarding school, and he could go live room and board at the school, rather than having to shack up with Pacha.
Yeah. Because even like
The only reason I know it takes place after is because the baby's born.
gotcha. Okay.
So
yeah, so it just makes no sense whatsoever.
This movie or not fuck. This show was done traditional 2D animation. Flash animation is around at this time.
Yep.
Of 2006. It had been diminished as being incompatible during development. In an attempt to preserve the Emperor's New Groove's art style, Ganaway kept its focus on the characters. He explained that the original film had made characters appear flatter against solid, washed-up backgrounds, which helped them pop. His intention was that the series should continue this technique, and each episode took about 9 months to complete.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, and it actually does really show that they put a little bit of elbow grease into this. Like, it's not a bad looking show.
It's not, yeah.
It just looks like most of your Disney shows, especially when they're based off of the movie, it's a little bit more jarring.
Yeah.
Because you're used to seeing them with movie budget.
Yep.
But this one is like animated series budget. So, but as far as that goes, it's not bad.
No, it's still, I think it's held up to time. You know, going
Yeah.
back, you can still watch it. You can still say, hey, this is solid animation.
There's only one joke in the show that's new to me. I mean, they do physical humor.
Yeah.
They do the traditional slapstick. But there are... This happens in every episode. Cusco takes over and animates the episode. It's never funny every time. Never. He takes out a piece of loose leaf paper and draws it, and JP is trying to do his best to capture this like David Spade sarcastic magic, and it's just not there.
No.
I think really that's the three biggest criticisms of this show is they really should have. I can't imagine David Spade is going to be demanding more money than John Goodman, Eartha Kitt, and Patrick Warburton. Like,
Yeah.
to me, John Goodman's like on an elevated level of actor. And then everyone else is like, they're like the B celebrities.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why did they try? Did he turn it down? I'm not really sure.
If David Spade would have came back, this thing probably would have been fantastic. Because that is one thing that is missing from it. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like that character was David Spade. He did
It's
that
whatever
voice
the opposite of charm is that Cusco has, that in the Emperor's New School, that he's just lacking.
Yeah.
It's
He really was that kind of lovable joke in the movie.
yeah, and maybe
and he's
that's
not,
it. Maybe it's just like the way he says things. It's just like this guy just comes off as somebody that like isn't trying to be better. And I
Yeah.
guess also the plots that they put him in, he just it's so jarring.
Yeah.
It was also it was also very much criticized for not having any educational value.
Yeah.
It was rewarded several awards.
Yeah, I see that.
Eartha Kitt won an award for her performance as Iza for outstanding voice acting in television,
Very
and
nice.
2 daytime Emmy awards for outstanding performance in an animated program. Warburton received a nomination for the same Annie Award as Kitt in 2007. So, I mean, the people who came on, they tried. And I really do think that all it was is that they should have just gotten David Spade's weaselly ass in there
Well, that and
to really like bring it home.
really develop Cusco. Like actually
Yeah,
make it to
like-
where like the lessons he learned in each episode, you can kind of see that being played out throughout the series.
Yeah, especially if you're doing something episodic, you should really like there's no character growth at all.
Yeah.
He's a total shithead of the same level every time. Like like a good example of like character growth would be the Hercules animated series, where you watch Hercules like learn the rules of heroing,
Yeah.
and you see him in not so much call back, but use those rules later on in the series. And with Aladdin, there's not too much character growth, you could say, but they do move the plot forward in a lot of interesting and exciting ways. But with this one, it's just, and I feel like it was trying to do more with comedy, but it's just not that funny.
No.
Like the jokes from the movie are good because like they're the first ones, and it just seems like they're like calling back. Like you watch the show and you just really just want to watch the movie.
Yeah, because they can't
Because they
do
you can't
anything
think
new.
of anything on their own.
Yeah. No, man, don't even get me started with that in Disney even now. God.
Yeah. that whole live action animated that shit needs to end.
Right?
It worked with the Jungle Book. The rest of them have all been terrible. Now, granted, I have not seen, I think the newest one was The Little Mermaid, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen that one, so I don't really know. But all the rest of them have fallen just super flat. And every time you watch them, you just want to watch the animated version because they're clearly better. And it's nothing against the casting choices or anything. It's just the magic that they're trying to recreate in live action, or in this show's case, an animated series. It's just not there because they're just like, hey, remember this funny thing you saw in the movie? Well, we got this unfunny version of it.
Yep. They are selling us a fantasy world. It's a lot easier to get lost in a fantasy world in animation. But when you start putting like live people up against CGI, it just loses people. But if you just give them like one sorts of like medium animation, it's easier to get lost, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So, Joel, I believe it's time to go to your new reoccurring segment, reviews that got straight A's and reviews that need to go to summer school. Alternatively, reviews that got their groove back and reviews that get left on the dance floor.
Second one, always the best one, Andrew. Second time.
We don't always do a second one,
no,
but that one was better.
But yeah, that one was better. So we're going to start off with a 1 out of 10 titled Why? I cannot believe this show was okayed. First off, JP Monax does a horrible job filling in for David Spade, and Poncho's voice is too deep compared to John Goodman's.
That is true. I didn't mention that up top, but that first season without him, it's like a garbage disposal is talking.
It's rough. The theme song is so annoying, and the plots of the episodes are so stupid. The only good thing about the show is that Eartha Kitt and Patrick Warburton remained as the voice of Yzma and Kronk. The show is a waste of money and a waste of your time. Half of the episodes are copied of the movie. In my opinion, The Emperor's New Groove was one of the best children's movies in years, but they completely ruined it by making Kronk's New Groove and this show. You should watch such shows as SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, or Kim Possible, but not this show.
Oh.
Hey, had same complaints.
He even had suggestions for you.
And honestly, same complaints that you brought up. Just,
I can't imagine too many people had anything positive to say about this show.
There was a few. This one, I think the first line is probably just the best. So this is a 10 out of 10. Title, Great Show If You Try.
Okay.
Original movie lovers can actually love this show if they just stop complaining all the time. The Emperor's New School brings up some old jokes from the movie, like pulling the lever to Yzma's laugh and Kuzco's pausing the episode. But since it's a kids show, it's just classic and is in their right places. Even though the style is much more simple, the animation and characters keep their personalities very well, and it surprised me. Actually, Eartha Kitt makes excellent voice acting for Yzma, and John P. or JP Monax does a wonderful job for Kuzco's voice instead of David Spade, who played Kuzco's in the movie. Great plots, hilarious moments, and Kuzco's amazing looks makes this show worth watching. Just stop complaining about everything.
Well,
Andrew,
That's not what this show does.
Andrew, what you have here, you have someone who sees it as the glass being half full versus someone seeing it as half empty.
that bad review, that guy shattered the glass. He said, "Fuck that glass."
He's like, man, this glass sucks. I don't want
This
any
glass
of this.
sucks dick.
How about zero? How about zero empty?
Yeah. So, do you have any closing thoughts on the Emperor's New School?
I guess if you can stop complaining, according to this one guy, go watch it. But really, I would say just watch the movie. I mean, that's really going to be where you will find that enjoyment. But if you're just the biggest fan of the
That's where
Emperor's
the
New
best
Groove,
version of the jokes are.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep. What about you, Andrew?
I have to give it props for the effort in animation to keep it, really on par with the movie.
Yeah.
The style choices, like especially with the temptation to use Flash.
Yeah.
Because Flash would have really cut down on the work effort time.
Yep.
If only this show really could have been something if they had worked on like fleshing out the plot a little more. Like you said, why is Yzma there?
Yeah.
Or if Yzma is there, why is she gonna take over the Empire? Maybe have something else or make it a prequel like you said, but then you don't have Pacha. So it's really just, I appreciate the effort, but it just seemed so unnecessary that
it was just a crap.
Why bother? Why this series?
Dude,
but the answer is because money.
Cash grab. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the way the business works.
Yeah.
I wish they would just be like, you know what? Let's put a good story before anything else. But
yeah.
No.
Have we tried trying yet?
What?
What?
You
the hell is that? No.
Trying?
Trying?
I don't get paid to try.
Yeah, I don't get paid to try. But I believe that wraps up the Emperor's New School. Be sure to check out the Emperor's New Groove episode of the Flicks and Friends podcast. Joel is on there.
Yeah.
And then check out the other episodes where Joel isn't on there.
Yeah.
They have a really great repertoire between one another. And I think you'll like what you'll hear. If you like this show, you'll like that show. And if you don't like this show, you'll still like that show.
Yeah.
If you would like to support this show, whether you don't like it or not, you can go to patreon.com/cartoondd. There we have a single $5 tier that gets you pins, stickers, access to our Discord, and bonus episodes. If you are waiting on those pins, I need to get tiny little boxes because you can't put them in an envelope. The post office apparently gets mad. So they'll be coming soon. We have a Twitter handle CartoonDD. We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can request an episode. It can be a cartoon, an anime, a junkyard brawl. You can find someone for us to interview. We'll do another tier list. Whatever you want, within reason. The world's your oyster.
We'll do ASMR for you too.
Yeah, we'll do a solid hour of ASMR. So we have a Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads, all Cartoon Dumpster Dive. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice. I want to read this one because it's this one was on August 1st. Joel is the man. Cartoon Dumpster Dive is a laid-back, entertaining, and informative podcast. The greatness of the show is not what it is, it's what it's not. It's not a pretentious, it's not snarky, it's not the Simpsons comic book guy. I wish I could give it more than 5 stars. Keep up the good work. I could listen to Joel discuss anything. So, fuck
on.
me. Well, don't say anything positive about the other guy.
They say
Whatever.
enough about you, Andrew.
No, they don't. But have a great rest of your week. School's starting soon, so have fun at school if you go to that.
Yeah, have fun.
Don't turn into a llama. Bye.
See ya. Where, oh, where can Andrew be? His internet took him away from me.
I took a picture of the screen
Oh no.
when it froze. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
This has been a Lughole podcast.